on BOE, I'm really looking to who has the better race here.
Sure.
Once again,
Who has Hanzo?
Yeah, Hanzo. that's the one we gotta look out for more than anything.
Ban.
Yeah.
Tricked has banned a lot of Abathur on the map because they know that Zealots play some Abathur. Tricked in part 1 of 2018 has banned nearly exclusively Abathur. And this is still one of the maps where they oftentimes fall back into the Abathur ban pattern, and that's confirmed here immediately. So yeah, Abathur is the ban for them. That means there's still a chance that we of course see a Hanzo ban on the side of the Zealots if they feel that Tricked would pick it away. But Tricked has started to show a bit of a priority for Phoenix over Hanzo even.
Yeah, Phoenix over Hanzo is understandable, but I would be surprised if they prioritized it over on BOE.
It's just like the race potential on the Immortal is just insane.
It looks like with the Medivh hover, the Hanzo might be available here.
Yeah, which means Zealots can get Phoenix themselves if they want, which Phoenix has been getting a lot in this battleground for helping out with the race. There it is. Medivh's been taken away. Tricked, will you immediately answer back with the Hanzo pickup? We'll see here. So far, no.
D.Va first pick.
Oh, there it is.
You got me excited. And I was like, wait, really? Sweet.
Yeah, that's going to be the first victim. I thought we dealt with that craziness already.
I could use some more though, a little bit more. It is playoffs though. Hanzo taken up. Zealots immediately. Where did they go to here? We have yet to get a Garrosh from Obsteel. This is a battleground that he typically likes to move into it.
Yeah. I mean, we could see something along the lines of Garrosh here again. Question, of course, is first of all, do you get immediately something for AD RD as well? Normally, we see his pick pattern a little bit farther down. We could, on the other hand, see Stukov even taken, Maiev super early again. And yeah, maybe they go into Shad Stukov once more. But no, they go with Malfurion this time, so no Admiral Gonzalez for game 3.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good one, too. It's very strong in terms of just early game brawling. I mean, having Hanzo does win you the race, but that doesn't matter for much when you can't actually get to their Immortals. So, looks like Zealots kind of have that game plan of just building a strong early game team composition that can really brawl with the opponents and hopefully just win the fights.
Let's elaborate on that a little bit more. When you know the opponent has a Hanzo, what are you trying to get? Are you trying to force fights on them? Or are you just trying to stop them from getting towards the Immortal? What is your favorite heroes to pick up?
Well, since Hanzo races faster than any other hero in the game, you do not want to just race against him. So that puts you in a situation where you either want to 4-man defend and have one of your guys racing, or you just 5v5 them and have a better early game and just win the fight straight up and then take their Immortal after you win a fight.
Sure.
Now with the rest of the picks here, one of the things that of course with the Medivh pick or ban got shut down pretty early was any kind of Diablo Medivh combo, and we see that heavily in Europe. Now at this point you still have the arrow into the Apocalypse, and I was just about to allude to the D.Va explosion that was shown the last time by Tricked. Against any other team you would call them crazy to even think about a D.Va ban. Against what Tricked has shown in the past and how they oftentimes get when they're 0-2 behind and start, okay, let's YOLO this.
They get sassy.
I could definitely see them trying to go into an Hanzo arrow, into Apocalypse, into a bombs, just try to set something up on those lines. And I wouldn't blame Zealots at all if they confirm that ban, just to be on the safe side.
They should probably ban Cho'Gall instead, though, just so we can have D.Va. But they're not feeling it. The D.Va ban has been taken away. No, they switched it up. Yes. There's a chance. There's still a chance, guys. Fans like whatever.
Oh no, I mean, I saw the clips on Reddit. You know, I saw their wombos. It was pretty
That's
impressive.
how you know a composition's good.
Yeah.
You saw it on Reddit. Oh, I should play that.
Hey man, it makes it on Reddit for a reason, you know?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
All the D.Va mains got very happy about that.
I was.
It's a legit hero after all, I knew it all along. Right, Tim?
Yeah, right. And then I lost like 5 times this week in D.Va, so I thought we had it figured out. We don't.
No, but okay, so there definitely is that Bombo combo potential for them. They don't have a hero for Alex yet, so they could also go, they could still go into a Thrall, they could still play around, could have even taken Blaze with the ban out now, but there's still a couple of other options for them, for sure. But the D.Va play that we saw by them was definitely pretty strong, and you have now a setup that locks targets into position long enough. That's the reason why these Steelers were thinking about it, but then you have Malfurion already taken. The second strongest support for a long time now has been Stukov, and of course around the Diablo setup and Hanzo himself as well, you can still do a whole lot with Stukov in the silence here. It's one of the reasons to get rid of it. But still, we need a front line for them.
Yeah.
We've talked about Garrosh, that we haven't seen him yet. Still something Mobster can play here.
Fan, what are you thinking about for main tanks here?
Yeah, the Garrosh is, I would say, very likely here. I'm interested in seeing what their range damage pick is going to be. You know, Tracer and Greymane, very heavily played by Zealots, are going to be the top 2 choices. The way that Tricked is doing the draft with the Genji Diablo second pick, it makes me really think that they're heavily trying to discourage the Tracer pick. Both Genji and Diablo very strong into the Tracer. So we'll have to see what they go with this rotation.
Is Tychus a possibility?
Well,
Doesn't
they're
matter.
going with it anyways.
A noob and Tracer. So Cocoons, Tracer Chase down here. Tassadar is still up and available for a 5th pick, by the way. Granted, Maiev is typically played by ADRD whenever we have Chris playing Tracer.
With this setup, you would definitely expect them to go with the last pick for Zamani. I feel like they can probably flex him over into Maiev, but I would really doubt it. The problem is also, you don't really want to have... If you get a Tassadar here, then you have to set Maiev on the side lane, and you're usually going to lose that unless you have an Abathur in the composition.
Sure.
And Maiev is going to be strong enough to take that side lane quite easily, and depending on what Alex chooses here. But yeah. I mean, you have still enough options. You could even go into the Sonya, one of the Zamani True and Tried special. Go into Sonya here, but it depends, I feel, highly on what Alex decides to go for the side lane.
Yeah, I think what Trick really wants here is some way to protect the Hanzo. Like I was saying last game, when you have a Hanzo, you need to be able to reach him. And Tracer, Maiev, Anubrak, they all do that extremely well. Uther, pretty good, but yeah, I think this game is going to hinge a lot on how well the Hanzo survive.
Finally! We've been memeing about this for quite some time, because what basically happens, Tricked is a team. Do you watch Alex stream at all?
Yeah, sometimes.
So Alex has this these heroes that he at some point starts to one-trick a little bit, and at the beginning of the season he had like an 8-0 track record on Butcher and was starting to meme around how he's going to make Butcher happen in HGC. Now we've seen that already in last week's games where there was nothing on the lines and the teams were memeing a little bit, but right now we're actually going to see a more or less for real Butcher comp where Tricked is just saying, hey, we're 0-2 anyway, so let's go in and just let's try stuff out and see if we can follow through with that. And it can work, but yeah, I'm happy that we have the Butcher in. So let's see how ADRD deals with that.
Yeah. Let's see how he does.
I mean, to be honest, there's a lot that you can set up with this. You have, I mean, there's a lot of tools that you can use, and they have now Tyrael for Sanctification. I think that's actually like a really good answer, at least.
Yeah.
And keeping that last pick open for Zamani was definitely the right choice here, because you have a Butcher, you have the Divine Shield for it, you can use after level 10 all the wombo combos that we have. If you are able to get any good arrow with Hanzo and an Apocalypse after that, the Butcher is just going to move through you. So the biggest thing against him is normally that you're trying to get the CC in, or you're trying, like any kind of stun lock or blinds are great against him. In this setup, you have, the one thing that I feel they have to be careful of is that Anubra can at any point just throw the cocoon out.
My concern also is the mobility is through the roof here for Zealots. I mean, Malfurion's the only one that doesn't have an instant way to disengage, right? You look at everyone here for Zealots, and they can walk away from a Butcher when he chooses to onslaught in.
Yeah, and on top of that, I mean, I've dabbled in Butcher myself in the past, and I feel like Butcher is a hero that really needs to scale. You know, you want to finish your quest, and BOE is not the best map for that, so...
Unless you get a lot of kills.
Unless you get a lot of kills, that's true.
But yeah, I would say it's definitely going to still be rough. I mean, again, if they can fed the team fight, the problem that I still have is the cocoon. If you can just shut the onslaught down when it comes and then force the fight away from him, jump into the backline, you're going to put your opponent in trouble. But it's a typical Trick pick.
Let's see if it works. Let's go to game number 3 as Alex and Progy and crew are looking to go out with style or start a new fire here. Let's go to game number 3. Zealots are up 2-0. And we're going to their best battleground, Battlefield of Eternity.
Game number 3 is up, and at this point, Tricked Esports is determined to make a reverse all sweep with Butcher only play happen. To the left side, we have the Zealots with Mobson and Uberak, Shadow Malfurion, Zamani on Tyrael, ADRD on Maiev, and Chris on Tracer.
On the right side in the red, Crosby to play Hanzo, Grandpa Kill on Uther, Make on Genji, Rimmer on Diablo, and looking for fresh meat, Alex the Progy playing the Butcher.
Oh, fresh meat.
Thank you, Caldor. Good
That
job.
was my Butcher impression.
That was pretty nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Thank
A little more growling would have been nice afterwards.
A little more growling.
Yeah, a little bit more growling. You need to be animalistic.
Not
in a way.
stopping after the fresh meat and go for growling.
Yes.
Okay, the next time I'm definitely going to do that.
Just let it out, you know?
We can just combo it. Like, I go for the voice and you go for the...
Okay, let's try it.
Ah, fresh meat.
Perfect.
Dang, that's scary.
Loving it. Exactly. Blizzard, new voice actors right here.
Terrifying.
Thank us later. Okay, so Trick going for the Butcher play, really trying to see if they can make that work for Alex, and already we are having him up at the top lane. So going for the solo lane setup. Now, of course, when you're talking about Butcher, the one thing that you have to focus on is, no jokes, I mean, all jokes aside, is the fresh meat. You're trying to get the stacks together, you're trying to survive so that you don't lose any and complete your quest. At the bot lane, that means, though, that Rema Baller is under a lot of pressure in a 4 versus 3 situation, and yeah, that's the first kill confirmed for the Zealots. Now, against Diablo, that isn't really too bad in the early game here just yet. Doesn't mean anything so far, as long as they get some trade value out of the top, where they run a 2 versus 1 against Zomini. But they definitely need to make sure that they at least get something out of this spot, because they are having a very different lane setup than what we're used to on the map.
Yeah, Rimmer was trying to identify where exactly the rest of the Zealots were, because 3 of them were missing on the map, only 1 was in that bottom lane, and they knew that they had a 2-on-1 in the top lane, so they had to let Alex Aproji know whether or not he could dive forward. Sadly, he gets caught out because of it. Would have been nice just to wait a second or two and get that Sonic Arrow in from Hanzo to scout that out instead, but it cost them a life as Zealots were able to get that pick, and now they're going straight for the fresh meat themselves. They jump right on Alex Aproji.
And Alex survives. Gets the Butcher's Mark in and is able to get his... That was actually insane that he survived that. Like, I really thought, okay, this is them already starting to drop the stacks, and that really just can't happen. In terms of the build for him, we have Invigoration taken as the level 1 talent. It's not so much really about the mana cost that you get refunded, half of it when you're hitting a hero. It's more so about getting the cooldown reduction, which is super important here. So with the setup that they're running, I really feel a lot of this comes online after level 10. Now, of course, they have to deal with Cocoon and Sanctification once 10 hits for the Zealots. But as we heard from Fan and as we explained already, it's all about getting the stacks together. And that's where Alex just really needs to have a little bit more time to complete that.
Speaking about the stats, a total of 21 here so far for the Butcher as they help clear out that lane in the top lane, helping out as much as they can. Now, with this bottom lane being pushed in by the Merc camp, Zealots are looking to make a little bit of a pressure play and try to force maybe a rotation for Tricky Sports so they can go over and start doing some damage to the Immortal. But for the most part, their race isn't that insane. Zealots will be looking to try and jump on top of Crosby here, who is currently helping with the Bruiser camp.
Yeah, Alex, of course, taking most of the damage here. Can always use the Butcher's Mark, Butcher's Brand to get through with that. But they're going to time that properly. So with them taking their camp right now, they definitely have a pretty nice setup here that they can use to push through the top lane. The question just is, how fast are the Zealots going to rush down that Immortal? Because we have Hanzo on their side, and that's what we've been talking about all draft long. Here comes the attack against Uther, and he came in from a really awkward spot. Onslaught comes in, going for the charge, but that's a bad start for Tricked. I like it. This is a horrible start. Crosby down after Uther just died, and now they're focusing on Alex. And that's a triple kill against Tricked.
Zealots wish they had a Butcher right now, because that would have been a decent amount of meat. Getting 3 pickups there, Uther, Butcher, and Hanzo all falling. Zealots instantly jump up in experience here and also get a halftime show on the Immortal. This is falling apart for Trick.
I mean, that got awkward quickly, to be absolutely honest. I mean, Grandpa was completely out of position there. He had no business being in that spot. They just didn't expect everyone to be there, I think. And yeah, now of course Zealots are just rushing down the Immortal. No problem with that. Trick is at least trying to get some of the hit points off so that they don't have to deal with 100% shield. They're at least getting it down to 50%. Not gonna lie, I expected it to be worse.
Zealots will now have the first Immortal of the game. They're also about to hit level 7. And they'll be looking to push in the lane here in the top with the Immortal here. They're going to have a Pulse Bomb up available soon, being able to force a fight. Trick Esports will be doing their best here to clear it out. Luckily, they have Hanzo, but they got to protect Crosby here. Crosby's going to be doing all the damage he can here to clear that up.
Yeah, and now, of course, we're having Butcher down to the bot lane, trying to somehow get something here. ADRD, can they take him down? Yes, they can. Down he goes. That's the kill they needed. Rema is kept alive, and Uberok was trying to dart in from the side and flank. But now, with a kill against Maiev, all of a sudden, Zealots have to play a lot more passive and are not going to get quite as much out of this as they were hoping for.
Yeah, now they can at least hit the fort, too. Trick Esport with the kill. A little bit of aggressive play there from ADRD. Obviously, a trap set up by Trick Esports. Zealots intended to go for the full engage, as you mentioned, as Mobtail coming in from the side. But it just wasn't on time. And Zealots instead rotated the bottom so they can get something else more they've won. They get 1 turret and looking to grab the second. But also, they're denying Alex Aproji a little bit of meat.
Yeah, and they need to stack Alex, and currently he's completely zoned out from it. He's trying to get some. He's sitting at 20 stacks at this point. But of course, he wants and needs to get a bit more. So we are going to finally see Alex starting to pick some of it up. But with him dying a bit earlier, this is just awkward for them. Again, the pressure against Crosby here. Rimmer Baller also firing away after they took the camp at the top lane and are trying to use it to break through the wall here. In experience, Zealots has set themselves apart by half a level, trying, of course, to get level 10 for the second Immortal phase, and already attempting to pick up another kill. Currently the kill count 4 against 0 in favor of the Zealots, but Tricked is now replying in kind with more pressure towards the bot lane and take one of the towers down.
What I'm worried about is moving to the second Immortal phase, Zealots will be level 10.
Yeah.
And they'll be able to force a fight.
But
They can dive the Butcher themselves.
But if they actually get another tower, they are probably able to get on level 10 themselves, at least after the halftime show, I would say. They just need to make sure that they're getting 1 or 2 of these structures, because Zealots are ahead, but it's not by too much. It's not quite half a level.
Well, Tricked Esport immediately leaves that bottom lane as Zealots rotate down to grab the smart camp, get it pushing in.
Yeah,
the Immortals here in 20 seconds. I don't know,
They need structures. They really need some structures. Level 4, by the way, is... There we go. Level 4, by the way, is Flail Axe, so increases the hamstring length. So both of the level 1, like the first 2 levels, our talents are targeting that, and then the Insatiable Blade taken on level 7. So the extra movement speed when you're facing an enemy branded by the Butcher's brand. And that's really important so that you get the extra hits in and get that survivability. 10 is there, half a level away is Tricked. Immortal is now in. And we have, as expected, Sanctification taken. Only Malfurion holding back his own 10, waiting for the choice between Tranquility, which we've seen in the last game, and the Twilight Dream. But Tricked is now starting to get their own level 10. And then, at the halftime show, they can try and make their play.
And they'll have that full engage they want. Dragon's Arrow into a Lamb to the Slaughter. Even Uther here, if they really want to, can go Divine Storm, but Divine Shield is usually recommended for a Butcher to buy him some time to start winning the team fight. They have the Wombo combo.
Yeah, there we have it, and exactly, one more combo. So the problem that they have, there's 2 issues to this. First of all, of course, Cocoon is a game changer, and Sanctification. Arrow also not hitting anything is another problem. But here comes Alex, and he goes straight for them. Apocalypse comes out, and that should be the end of Tyrael at least. Yeah. Tyrael goes down, Hanzo falls as well. But the slaughter is continuing as Inuburak dies, and we're going to see a triple kill. Malfurion is dead, and Tricked is just destroying here.
Alex grabbing some meat here too, jumps up to 75, eventually gets picked off. ADRD tries to grab Make as well, but eventually does fall. But Tricked is able to win the team fight, only Tracer standing. The important reason why that fight happened though, and they were able to survive, is that Tyrael moved in for the Sanctification, but the Lamb Slaughter came up just in time to silence him.
Exactly. So the arrow didn't, and I mean, think about it, the arrow didn't even hit anything.
Yeah, it would have been worse if it hit.
The entire setup didn't work as intended, but then they just simply dropped the Lamb of the Slaughter onto Tyrael. He could never set up the Sanctification, and that was just enough to get Tricked in a position where with Genji's help, they eliminated everyone. And they actually win the Immortal too.
Hanzo.
No. Oh, yeah, sorry, my bad.
Came in and cleared it out. Mafia goes in for a fight. They realize that Tricked is kind of low on mana, trying to grab something. The cleanse comes out from Uther to make sure that Diablo's fine and dandy.
But look at his experience. They actually completely caught up. We have 6 kills against 5 in favor of Zealots, but experience is exactly the same at this point, and they're 5-manning the top lane. The Immortal goes to the bot lane, there's only Zarmony for the defense, and Tricked is simply saying, hey, we're going to 5-man top.
And you have to be careful too, because Tricked can force an engage at any point between Diablo and Butcher.
And they are going to pick up the meat right now. Alex died in the last fight. It was a bit unfortunate for them, since they want to keep the meat up on him. But now it's a 4 versus 5, and Tyrael, the guy with the Sanctifications, at the bot lane. So if they see a chance here, they're going to turn it around.
Alex dancing here. Keep an eye on him. Remember that Lamb of the Slaughter is going to be one of the ways that they lock down one target in particular. And finally, the Immortal of the South gets cleaned up. So Zealots are actually able to clean up this entire engage, and they might be able to save this fort for now. Nope, Rimmer comes in and charges it down.
Mines.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah, yes, and of course the Fountain is even more important.
Yeah.
But they would love to have the 13 now. And Divine Shield, I mean, this is now a setup where you have to be careful if you're Zealots. Alex, of course, at the same time, needs to be careful about keeping his stacks here. Yeah, here comes the cage. That didn't do too much. Cocoon is in, and they're trying to move for Diablo. Sanctification comes out too. Tricked doesn't want to fight this. They let Rema fall, and that's the end of Diablo. So at this point, he still had his 100 souls. Could simply move away from this, but now Diablo is a lot weaker, of course. Give you guys also a bit of a update. 91 stacks on Alex when it comes to the fresh meat. Still has a long way to go until he completes the quest.
Rimmer just made a really small mistake, but it became massive. Just walking into turret range because the minion just barely stopped outside the range. Taking 4 or 5 shots before starting to back up, and that root just came in to lock him down. That was a really colossal problem here for Diablo. As you mentioned, the souls going out there, meaning he is much weaker in fights. Tricked will have to try and get those souls built up, so now they're not even building just a Butcher, they're also building a Diablo again, who's currently sitting at 11 of his stacks.
Yeah, and of course, Alex is getting more and more damage here as well. Like, he's sitting at 100 stacks right now, he's going to get a couple of more. We have 13 talents now coming into play here. And that gives us immediately, among other things, of course, the flow like water. So the reduction. There's like a lot of stuff now happening for Tricked where they can try and be a bit more aggressive. The devastating charge coming in too. Alex still holding back the 13. But while we're talking about like tools, let's also talk about what we're seeing for the opponent. Especially Holy Ground and Ice Block are two great tools how they can try and mitigate some of the pressure play that we are seeing from Tricked.
They really do have a lot of isolation, Zealots do. The Holy Ground you mentioned, Cocoon coming out there, Roots as well. Tricked has to be on their tippy toes when going for these fights. Have to be careful. Now keep an eye on Crosby. He's going to be looking for that Dragon's Arrow. Sonic Arrow comes in, sees that 3 are put together. Zombie comes in. There's that Holy Ground we were talking about. They start to put some damage on top of Grandpa Kid.
Arrow.
Able to kite away. There's the arrow into the APOC. Maka goes in with the Dragon Blade.
Yeah, they're not using anything just yet. Dragon Blade has been used. Here comes the Butcher. Sanctification is out. They move away from it. Remaballer is zoned slightly, tries to survive, and he is going to fall. Down goes Diablo. Just doesn't have the hit point pool that he wants here, and they are trying to go for the second. Make is low. Zips away at the last moment. Still in vision. Nobody following up yet. Tyrell is making his way down, but there's still a camp at the top lane that is doing some pressure. Ooh, Make barely moves out. Is able to actually escape this, and Maiev has now started to take over the top position.
But Hanzo's also on the opposing Immortal. And he's starting to chuck it down. Dropping down the Scatter Arrow, missing that one. Not quite getting it fully there, but still keeping up with Zealots, who have Tracer, who honestly doesn't have the highest DPS in the game.
Yeah. I mean, right now, when it comes to the chase potential or the race potential, Tricked is definitely in a superior position. And they do make this more or less a 50-50. Not quite, even though they lost Diablo early on in these fights. But there's still a lot of potential for Tricked to turn this around. Cooldowns have been used quite a lot in the last fight, not all of them up again. This is a chance now to get some damage in. Alex at 111 stacks. He wants the kills, and he's going to look for these opportunities. Already the damage against ADRD. Zealots are aggressive again, and Alex goes in.
Same time, Rimmer takes some damage, he gets blown up. Divine Shield comes out. Alex is hoping to chase down ADRD, but ADRD is able to sneak away. Mach at the same time, low in health, drops on the deflect just to get a little bit of damage out to trade out. But Tricked Esports loses one member. With Diablo down, Zealots turn their eyes over to the Immortal.
Grey Cocoon here once again, also against Grandpa Kette, who was just safe to keep the targets alive here. But once again, the pressure play from Zealots as they're trying to go in. Alex is looking for another opportunity here. That didn't do anything. His ult had no value. They're moving in again. The Sanctification comes out, and the double kill as Butcher and Genji both fall. More stacks gone on Alex's side as well. And welcome to the problem with the Butcher. Negated by the Sanctification, the Twilight Dream coming through, just shut down right away. And if you don't get those kills, you don't get those stacks. And if you die yourself, then you lose what you have. And Alex is just miles away from getting the quest completed, which is the biggest part of playing Butcher.
Yeah, if you can't introduce enough chaos with the Butcher composition, the Butcher will be locked down. And Zealots so far in the last 2 team fights have done a really good job of making sure that he cannot get the engage he fully wants. ADRD low on health, but able to sneak away thanks to the Warden's Cage being there as well, even with the Divine Shield coming out from Tricked Esport. And now Zealots, with a pretty decent sized Immortal, has a talent advantage and look to push towards the keep.
Yeah, if you're playing on the Butcher, you want long games, you want to stack, you want to be in a position where you can really get that damage out, and so far the combos are not quite where they have to be. The Zealots now with the attempt to get the keep at the top lane, and they have level 16 talents as well. Big advantage for them. The shields on the Immortal might be gone, but that bad boy is still hurting. Both of those towers are already down, and now we are starting to see the Immortal move straight for the keep. Here comes the Cocoon again as they're going for Alex. The stuns are out, Apocalypse is there, but it's not enough. The Butcher is dead, and the keep is a foregone conclusion.
Wonderful Holy Ground there from Zarmany, locking the Butcher in. The rest of the Zealots are able to turn their attention towards them. The Apocalypse coming out to try and save his life, but Rimmer unable to connect on multiple members before Alex Aproji fell. Rimmer escapes away here on the back left, but the rest of the Zealots, now that they know that they're in a 5v3 on the core, head straight for it in an attempt to put some damage down.
Yeah, they're going for it immediately, and the shields are already gone. Tricked Esports is starting to lose the core here. Diablo is coming back and is trying to somehow turn it around. Tyrell is down. The explosion itself is going to take enough off to make this a 3-0 as we have the Zealots win the 3rd game on Battlefield of Eternity. They take out Tricked Esports and move on to the next round of our playoffs.